Thank you to everyone who has been listening to the Danny Dozen Mini Podcast and reading the Danny Dozen articles posted on nwfdailynews.com and in the print edition of the Northwest Florida Daily News each day. We're about halfway through the Danny Dozen articles so far. Before we get to the episode, I want to mention one of the sponsors in the high school football preview section, which will appear on August 28th. Sport Clips. They have two locations, one in Fort Walton Beach at Wright Plaza on the corner of Racetrack Road and Deal Parkway, and they have another in Bristol Beach Plaza next to Barnes & Noble's out in Destin. The phone numbers are 850-315-6871 for the Fort Walton Beach location and 850-460-2847 for the Destin location. They've been voted finest on the Emerald Coast, and they want all the local teams in the area. They want everyone to have a great season. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and in case you need a haircut on Sundays, they also have opening on Sunday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Devin Golden from the Northwest Florida Daily News here doing the Dandy Dozen Mini Podcast, and I've got Eli Stove, a well-known name around the Panhandle, Niceville wide receiver, a senior, and a commit to Auburn, one of the top ranked wide receivers in the country, according to a lot of different scouting services. First off, congratulations, Eli, being Danny Dozen for a second year in a row, and also just for a summer and a spring and a last probably 15 months that have probably been a whirlwind for you. Does it get overwhelming at any point? I guess that's kind of the first question, because I've obviously never been a highly sought after college football player. Does it get overwhelming?
That's why I kind of got the recruiting process over with. I just committed to Auburn. So really this summer has been just relaxing, just focus on one school. I mean, there's schools that have been coming at me, but not really as hard as the school I committed to. So it's been going pretty well. Is there any chance it changes? I mean, or are you pretty much locked in, like, I want to go to Auburn? I mean, I'm pretty much locked in. I mean, if something happens in the course of the whole season and I have to change my mind, then I'm going to go ahead and do it then.
I got you.
Non-signing day. But I'm pretty much 100%.
I got you. Well, again, congratulations for being, at this point, a lot of kids are still fighting that decision. And you probably know them. You've probably talked to them about it. With interviews, I mean, again, I've never interviewed you. Do you try and shy? I mean, do you kind of? I mean, some kids, some teenagers, they kind of ball up. They get shy. They don't necessarily like the interview and doing interviews with media. And some other kids are very comfortable. How are you kind of with it?
It honestly depends. I mean, I know everybody has mood swings, and like my coach tells me, my mom and my dad tell me, just get the interview over with.
So you're like that right now. You're just like, let me just get this over with.
Yeah, I mean, I do interviews, but my mom and dad usually say, just don't be like Marshawn Lynch. Coach Hicks gave me a whole 5 minutes about just making sure I talk well in interviews and not just say like 1 word, 2 words.
Mm-hmm. I think it was you were walking up and Michael Carter was like, oh, Eli Stove, the great Eli Stove. Do people at school do that? They kind of, no one does that.
Nah.
No one treats you any different because you're Eli Stove. I mean, again, that's a name that everyone here knows.
Some of my friends do, but like I don't let it get to my head.
Really?
Like once you get to college, every 4-star, 5-star, it's just a regular person.
Yeah.
Regular college football player.
But you don't feel any sort of like you put up higher here.
No.
I mean, you don't let yourself be that way. Is kind of the main thing. I mean, you still brush your teeth. You still got to go home. You still got to do everything that any normal kid does, right?
Yes, sir.
When was the first offer for you? When did that first offer come?
I don't know what the date was, but it was family, and it was like the morning before school.
When did it really pick up for you? Like when did more offers really start coming through?
Probably after the 4th game.
4th game of sophomore year?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Does that ever get? Do you ever lose kind of the sense that you're just a kid? And you have to do school, you have to play for Niceville, you have to go do 2-a-days. Do you ever does anything ever get cut out of like your daily routine?
College, like you're gonna have to have time for you're gonna have to cut all the time for like some of your friends, your girlfriends. Like it's time management really. Just
I guess you probably don't have as much time, right?
Yeah.
You just don't have the time.
As you're talking about, do I feel like being a man or older? Like my parents always get to me saying like I'm getting too over my head sometimes, but yeah, Yeah, I do. I believe that. 'Cause sometimes everything gets overwhelming, but then I just had to realize I'm not there yet. So I'm not going to just be a bigger man than everybody. I'm still in high school, and I'm still getting, like, basically, my parents have been putting me through a lot, so I got to just be a young man, not a band.
I guess they're testing you. They're pushing you. You know, these are big decisions for you. For a kid, you know, you're getting an offer when you're a sophomore. How old are you? 15, 16? You know, that's a big decision, a big thing to handle as a 15-year-old. Do you ever get nervous still when you go out and play?
Not anymore. But
You never get butterflies when you walk out, like, for high school games anymore? As much as maybe you used to?
probably playoff games because I know it's my last time.
Talk about your personality, locked in people's faces, banging on the or are you more laid back?
I'm more laid back. I'm just listening to my music.
What music? What's like the one song you listen to? If there is a song.
To be honest, it changes every year.
Michael Carter's album.
Michael Carter's album.
I saw it on Twitter. Because he told me the story. So he's like, you know, he just said the album dropped. It was going to be the 8th, and then everyone wanted it, and he didn't really have any plans to do it. Yeah. So he just downloaded it SoundCloud.
I saw on the Snapchat he said at 7 o'clock it's going to be out. So I looked at 7 o'clock exactly. I looked, and me and my friend Ryan just listened to the whole album.
So you're not someone who gets like really amped up in the locker room. Who was someone like last year in the locker room that was like, you know, he was the one that was loud. He was the one that was way up here.
Probably Deontay.
Really?
Deontay Sheffield. I mean, he was really loud in the locker room because he was hyped before games and stuff like that. So.
And he didn't even. I mean, did he play it a ton?
Yeah, he played it.
He played a good bit last year.
Yeah.
Really? And he's gonna play. I know he's gonna play a lot more this year.
Yes, sir.
With Sharkey, I've obviously graduated, but so he was someone who was way up here. If I had to guess, and I could be way off on this, if I had to guess, was Bryson up there? Bryson Houston?
He was a little bit in between. He was like, me and him had like the lockers right next to each other, and
compared to you, he was.
Yeah, but he had some games. He had like he just laid back.
Really? Okay. What about on the field? Are you someone who gets in faces and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, it depends, really. Like, the music gets to me sometimes, like the bands.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the band here. I mean, you've played many games here. It's a pretty cool atmosphere, right? I mean, you're in the bowl that is like this awesome like venue. The student section is going crazy. The silly string goes in the air.
Yeah.
Does that just kind of take a hold of you when you see that sometimes? Like, you just kind of lose. It's almost an out-of-body experience. Like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I used to be in the band, so like every time I hear music, of course I'm gonna look towards the band, or I'm honestly gonna want to pick up a drumstick and just.
Really, you used to be in a band.
Yeah.
Like where? Here?
No, in my middle school. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still play instrument at all, or no?
Yeah, I still play a little bit of the drum, a little bit of piano, xylophones.
Really?
Yeah, I can do a lot.
Okay, I got you. Well, again, you know, congratulations on Dandy Dozen and on everything that has happened with you in your life. You know, you're obviously off to amazing things. I've never gotten the chance to interview you before, and I have gotten the chance to see you and watch you play, and I hope to obviously be able to do that a lot more this year.